What's going on, guys? Sam here again, and in today's video I want to talk about a piece of gear that you probably don't know about, but you absolutely need if you want to get the most bang for your buck out of your lighting gear. Now, there's plenty of new lights out there. There's the Aputure 300D, the Aputure 600D, and the Nanlux Evoke 1200, which just came out. And these are all really appealing lights. They have really good output considering the price. I've been using an Aputure 300D on pretty much every shoot that I've done for the past 2 or 3 years, so I love mine. But if you want to get serious about filmmaking and DPing and lighting things properly, these lights just aren't going to cut it in terms of output, so you're going to need something a little more powerful. So say you're shooting an outdoor night scene and you want to replicate moonlight, and you want to have the actors move through a large area in the scene while also moving the camera. So how are you going to light that with one Aputure 300D or even 3 Aputure 300Ds? The answer is you either get a new camera that can shoot in crazy low light, or you need to get a bigger light. But bigger lights are expensive. The Nanlux Evoke is $3,400, and that might not even give you enough output for this type of scene. So this scenario is the exact situation I was in a few months ago, right before shooting my new film Gemini. A large portion of the film was going to take place at night, and I needed the tools to be able to light my scenes properly without maxing out the ISO on my camera and also murdering my focus puller by shooting at T1.5 for the entire shoot. So what I want to talk about today is a light that has saved many indie productions, the ARRI M18. Now, if you were to go and look up the price of an ARRI M18, you might have a heart attack, but I have an alternative for you guys, which is an ARRI M18 clone. So what I'm talking about is a light that costs about $2,300, and it has the same exact specs as an ARRI M18, including the light output. So you're getting 1 million lux at 1 meter with this light, which is really, really bright. And to put that into perspective, here's a quick shot that I took in the middle of the day, so it was pretty bright outside. So this light is really bright, and it'll actually literally give you a sunburn if you stand too close to it for too long without the UV protective glass that comes over the front of the fixture. So what's great about this light is not only the brightness, but the fact that it can be plugged into a 20 amp circuit. So it's essentially the largest, brightest light that can be plugged into house power or like a wall socket. Now, you're going to have to check and make sure that you don't have anything else running on that circuit, because it draws quite a bit of power and it's very close to overloading a 20 amp circuit. So the reason that this light can have so much output with so little draw in comparison to other lights like tungsten lights is because it's an HMI. So that means that it utilizes a special HMI bulb, which uses a metal halide gas and mercury vapor mix in the bulb to generate more light output. The output is around 85 to 108 lumens per watt, which is about 4 times more efficient than incandescent tungsten bulbs. As a result, you get much more light output for a lot less power consumption. Now, back to the scenario I outlined for you guys earlier. I lit this scene using 2 light sources. I had the ARRI M18 clone as the main backlight that you can see hitting the sides of the actors' faces and covering the background here. And then I had an Aputure 300D in front of the actors with a light dome on it, and you can see that creeping onto their faces right here. I pumped extremely thick fog into this scene, so that cut down a lot of the light output as well as softened the ARRI M18 clone, and that was about it. So I lit this scene in the span of about 20 minutes, and I was able to move the camera and actors through a space that was about 50 feet long and 30 feet wide, so I had a lot of flexibility in this scene. So it saved me a ton of time, and I was able to get great shots with only 2 light sources. So I use this light on every shot that I did at night for this film, but that's not where its usefulness ends. If you pump this light through a window during a daytime shoot, it can act as the sun, recreating the sunrise or the sunset, add a more directional source to an overcast day, add greater contrast ratio during daytime shooting, or you could bounce the light off of a bounce board or reflector and light a large area with a really nice, large, soft source. For some of the night scenes in Gemini, I bounced the M18 off of a 4x4 reflector, which created a solid, slightly softer source than if I had just pumped the raw light into the scene. And it also gave me a lot of light output so that I could properly expose the shots and shoot the scene correctly. So many of the scenes I was shooting had a lot of movement and a lot of action going on, and I was going to need to move the camera to get a lot of different angles. So in order to save time, I really wanted to just be able to light the scene and then shoot it the way I wanted to without having to move lights around too much. And the M18 was incredibly useful for this because for the most part, I just had to get the light up high, and then I could shoot it in as a backlight which lit most of the scene, and then all I had to do is fill in different spaces and light the actors' faces occasionally. And then I was able to shoot the entire scene without hardly moving any lights at all. So the fact that I didn't have to move lights around saved me hours, and it allowed me to get the shots that I needed in a fraction of the time. Now, there are downsides to HMI technology that you guys should know about before you purchase this light. As with many other fixtures, if you touch the bulb with your bare skin, it can create a weak point in the glass and also eventually even explode. So you really need to be careful when handling the bulbs. Additionally, as with any big light, it gets really hot, so you're going to need to wear gloves when you're handling this fixture, especially when it's running. And the last main downside to using HMI lighting is that it requires a ballast, which is pretty heavy. I got a combo stand to hold my light, and that has worked really well for me so far. And now, before I go any further, I just want to say a little disclaimer here. These lights come from China, so they're not exactly subject to the same safety standards, and I've occasionally heard of them being faulty. However, the seller's link that I provided in the description has a very good return policy and good customer service, so if you have any issues, it should be able to be resolved pretty easily. But if you do buy one of these fixtures, be sure to test it under controlled circumstances first and take safety precautions to make sure that the lamp is functioning properly before you use it on a shoot. And this is good practice with any large light, especially HMI lights, because they can be finicky. Now, I also highly recommend doing your own research into HMI lighting and how it works, because they definitely have their pros and cons, and you should know about them if you're thinking about buying one. They also require a careful procedure for installing the bulb, handling the fixture, and striking the light, which I would be happy to make a video about in the future if you guys are interested. So please make sure you're properly informed before using any HMI fixture, not just this one. Now, I've put a link to where you can purchase this light in the description below, as well as a few other links to some of my other gear that you guys might be interested in. And they're affiliate links, so if you guys want to help the channel, if you do decide to purchase anything, if you use those links, I get a kickback from it, so that's really helpful for me to grow this channel and continue to make videos for you guys. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys show your support in that way. So just to reiterate, this is definitely the brightest light that you're going to find for under $2,500, and it's really going to help you take your lighting to the next level, especially if you need to light large areas or big sets. And it's the brightest light that you can power without running a generator, which is really helpful if you're shooting in a studio or if you're shooting on location. So that's about it for this video. If you guys would like me to make a video going into detail about how to light night scenes and how I do it, I would love to do that for you guys. So just leave a comment below. I'm working on a lot of new exciting videos, and I would really like you guys to be a part of that. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'd really love to keep making videos for you guys, and your continued support means a lot to me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.